Just okay, welcome back, everyone. We have our good friend Noel from Malta back to talk to us about different language influences on Maltese. Welcome back, Noel.
Hello, Mel. Thank you for having me again. Today we'll finish all the rest of the topics that we have for in this linguistic team. And without further ado, we'll start with Andalusi Arabic. Now, Zammit made a survey of the Maltese words that are derived from Andalusi Arabic, and he found that both Maltese and Andalusi have access to a common archaic source of Arabic, but they evolved differently. And also, he found that words that are found in both varieties probably were more widely spoken across the Arab world. He also found that some words entered Maltese directly from Andalusi Arabic, and others entered Maltese from Andalusi Arabic via Tunisia or Sicily. And I suggest that if the audience is more interesting, I highly recommend his article, which will be in the description box as usually. Now, so what do we have? We have words like bazwa, which means hernia, entered directly from Andalusi Arabic, and others like jallouza, which means hazelnut, came either through Tunisia or through Sicily. Now, this strengthens the argument, for those that remember, of what we said about the Levantine did the Arabic entered into Malta from Spain or Tunisia? And here we have another evidence kind of that corroborates the conclusion of Al-Sayed and Wilmsen. Now, when looking at Maltese words that are derived from Arabic, it's not always easy to discern whether their etymology is Arabic or Greek. For example, Ajus has a list of Siculo-Arabic words that found their way into Maltese and also the Greek influence on them. Now, we must remember that Greek also was very important in this time, even in the 6th or 7th century. I would like to remind the audience that the word dirham, for example, is a word that is etymologically Greek, as well as remind about that the Muawiyah's inscription, which is in Greek, and also that the Copts still write in a Greek script. And therefore, Ajus here also he lists his a series of words which are influenced by Greek. If we delve more deeply into the Greek itself, this is very interesting to just like Punic or Hebrew, because it may give us clues as to what happened to the Byzantine community when the Arabs conquered Malta. Were the Byzantines expelled, or was the community or killed, or was the community allowed to stay as zimmis? Now we have some words, for example, like lapsi, liti, miru, or kocha. Some enter directly from Greece, from Greek, some through Sicilian. For example, we have the word tames, and could come from tumatsu, which ultimately from Greek tamisos, but according to Borch, it's actually coming directly from tamisos and not through Sicily. And what is also interesting is that in the 19th century, there is a recording of a conversation, and Calabria was not called by how the Italians call it Calabria, but how the Greeks call it Calabria. So this is also interesting that we have, even until the 19th century, we have Greek influence on Maltese. Now, however, the conclusion by Ajus, at least, is that the evidence is very sporadic, and we must not forget as well the arrival of the Greeks with the Knights of Saint John in 1530, And Aquilina, for example, gives the word hamallu, which is of a recent introduction into Maltese.
What does that word hamalu mean?
Oh, it means in English it would be shav, chav, chav, I think.
I don't get it. Spell it
Cha
for me in English. Is it
shav.
shove, like in as in push?
No, as in people that are a bit of the, how can I say, they are, I know that in Sicilian it's tamarro, in Russian it's gopnik. I believe in English it's chav.
Okay, so the word is chav, Chav. Okay,
Yes,
that's
yes,
grand. We
can be.
got it.
Yes, it's chav, yes.
Chav, yeah.
Now, we saw also that Latin entered through Maltese, but also I was surprised that Latin entered through Maltese into Maltese, but through Maghrebi Arabic. For example, we have the word babushu, which means snail, which entered from North African Arabic, which means babush, and ultimately from Valgan Latin babosa. Now, Suag says that when he means by via North African Arabic, implies that these words were already in use before Malta was conquered by the Arabs. So therefore, they were already in North African Arabic before 870 AD. Another interesting word is fellus, which means chick, and these entered from North African Arabic, fallus, and ultimately comes from Latin pullus. Now, this change from P to F is very interesting because it means that it had Berber interference.
Interesting, yeah.
So let's look a little bit more at the Berber influence on Maltese. All Berber languages have been influenced by Arabic. All Maghrebi Arabic dialects have been influenced by Berber. And Suwag writes that the Berber in Maltese was imported from, is related with what's said in south of medieval Ifriqiya. Almost all are nouns and most are related to wild animals, for example, gramshula, fekruna, da'u'a, farfet, werzi', wild plants like Buddha and this, herbal medicine like Tanauda, Tillera, or famine foods like Garni, Silla, Tfif, Bazina. Now, to be clear, sometimes the etymology is not clear and it's uncertain whether the word entered uh, directly from North Africa or from Romance languages. For example, Buddha or Silla. Because these words are also found not only in Berber but in late Latin, in Iberian, in Italian Romance. Another word which entered from Maghrebi Arabic though is yes, sorry, which means yes, which comes from Maghrebi Arabic which comes from Berber yah, or although Suwa cautions that it could also come from I wallah, from which we derive Eva. Now let's look at another word, butterflies, Maltese farfet, in Arabic farashah, and in farfalla, in Italian farfalla, and in Berber fartattu. So it is closest with Berber. Now in Berber, we have it can farfet can mean or its reflexes can mean moth or butterfly or bat, just like in Maltese. In Maltese, it means farfet means butterfly, farfet al means bat. Whereas in Maghrebi Arabic, it's tir al-lil, which means the bird of the night. So Maltese, a bat is the butterfly of the night, whereas in Maghrebi Arabic, it is the butterfly of the night. If we had to look at the map and see the meaning of farfet in the different Berber regions, we find that farfet in the South Berber means only bat, In the North Berber means only butterfly, and the Maltese it means both bat has both the sense of bat and butterfly, and therefore Suwag concludes that Maltese has from Maltese. Therefore, we can make the conclusion that that this word in the beginning meant bat, then it became moth, and then it went to butterfly. So this is something interesting, especially for those that are interested in Berber. For us, this is more interesting, the word fakruna. Now, because it's not reported in Andalusi Arabic, but it is found in Western Sicily. And in Western Sicily, it's found as kufurun and fukurun. And this is very interesting, I think. Now, another feature which is interesting is the ending words with an A to mean diminutive. So, for example, and this feature is applied to words of both Arabic and Romance origin. For example, from fis, we have fisa, tsapun, we have tsapuna. However, Suwak cautions as well here that maybe it can be a Maltese innovation, because women are smaller than men. But most probably it's a Berber feature because this is found in Berber. Now we'll look at another word, which is zabouj. Now zabouj, Ajus, he makes a list of Maltese words which are derived from Sicular Arabic, and he says that zabouj is coming, which means olives. They are derived from zambouj, from Sicular Arabic zambouj, and ultimately Berber. However, Suwak does not agree. Now, why did I add zabouj in this presentation today? Because first of all, so that people would know about the article of Ajus if they would like to know about Sicular Arabic words. But mostly because, like, if you remember about bait, we have bait, which Maltese means dar, but also in topography, we know that bait was used to mean house. And so too, this happens with Zabouch. In Maltese, we have the town, one of the oldest towns in Malta is called Zaytun, which in Arabic means the olive. With Maltese, we lost the sense, but we still retain it in topography, just like in Dar. And also in Jebel. For example, we have Jebel Chantar. So we have these three words, Jebel, Zaytun, and Beit, which have retained their Arabic, which we find the same definition as in Arabic in topography, but we know they mean something different.
There's a town next to Cairo in Egypt called Zaytun. I presume that's the same word. I had no
Yes,
idea
yes.
it
Olive.
means olive.
Yeah, and even in
Interesting.
Spanish, it's aceituna.
Yeah.
That comes from the same um, etymon.
It's and so the variant Zabouche is how is that different? It comes from where? Just is it Berber? I got it right?
No, it's ultimately the etymology is unknown.
Okay.
Maybe it's Sikulo Arabic, but that's the farthest that we can go.
Yeah, okay.
We have also to be careful because some things are happened because of internally in Malta. They were so just because we see a feature doesn't mean that it has to come from abroad. For example, much and many in classical Arabic is katir, in Maghrebian it's bazzaf for yasir, and in Maltese it's hafna. And coincidentally, hafna in classical Arabic means a handful. So too in little or few in um, all Arabic it means, except for Yemeni and Maltese, it means Khalil, but in Maltese it means, sorry, it's said as ftit, which in classical Arabic it means uh, crumb.
So you're sorry, just make sure I got this. So you're saying the word for few or little is I don't know if you pronounce it fetis.
Ftit,
That's that's the word that's used in Maltese, whereas in Arabic generally
crumb.
it's
Classical
Khalil.
classical Arabic. In classical Arabic it means crumb.
But in other Arabic dialects, they would have used Khalil to mean few.
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Though actually now that because I've read this not the first time, and I think now, and I don't know why it's coming to my mind now, but I think even in Libyan and Tunisian they may say teeth, but Qansi writes like this.
Yeah.
So maybe the audience that are coming from Tunisia and Libya, they can corroborate this.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it just came to my mind now. I've been seeing this in front of my eyes for so long.
Yeah.
Creation of new definitions. For example, احتياجة is coming from English. It's not found in Arabic, the definition of the word to need. Harja, published, is not found in Arabic. Kem a kif ukoll be is not in Arabic, but it's from Italian. Quanto a così come be. And so too is khthib, which means thought or intention. Is maybe Yemeni has something similar, but not in all the Arabic varieties. And many more are described in Zammit's article. The creation of words, Arabic, now Arabic because these words are not found in the rest of the Arabic world, Swediya or Budiya. We can change, for example, in Arabic it's Jawaba, but in Maltese it's Wijab from Wajaba. So here we're changing the G with the we, the order. Now we go to another topic, which is a study by Marshall. Basically, what he did was he took the Maltese Arabic word list of Desalavi, I believe it's his surname, published in 1938, in which Maltese is compared with Arabic and Koranic Arabic. Now, so let's see what Marshall finds. So basically, he categorizes these differences. The first category is keeping the less common meaning. Now, I'm not going through all the examples. I'm just going to have one example from each category. If you recall, we had the word dawa in the first episode. Now, in Arabic, it also means to curse. So the Dawagandists, you can, depending on the context, if you want to say curse, you say Dawa as well in Arabic, not just in Maltese. What is curious is that in Maltese we kept just the less common meaning, which is to curse. And coincidentally, because it was in the chat, there were questions on whether is it a curse or maybe blasphemy. So in the dictionary of Aquilina, he says that a curse is something that is directed to people, but if it's directed to God, then it becomes a blasphemy. Yeah. Now, another word is mulay. Now, in Arabic, it can mean from Lord all the way to follower. In the Quran, it means patron, protector, or master. And the Maltese, it means just Lord, as in God, Rab, what in Arabic is called as Rab. So adding definitions to the word. For example, Jorf. Jorf in Arabic means cliff or precipice. In the Quran, it means cliff, bank, or precipice. In Maltese, it means precipice. For example, if people are familiar with Shaira, there is Jolf or Jorf, Jolf Tattafal, for example. But in Maltese, we add also the sense of an enormous man. Sometimes the word becomes more specific in meaning. For example, we saw bait, right, where in Arabic it's house, but in Maltese it's more specifically the roof. Assat. Now this is interesting because in Arabic it means to distribute, whereas in Maltese it's a more specific distribution of the rosary beads when praying. So when you are praying, you're saying the rosary, and you're pushing the beads between the fingers because you're counting, right? The Ave
Yeah. Yeah.
Maria. That is Assat. Changing the scale, we just saw Njebel, between a mountain or big hill to Maltese stone or rock. Changing the order, for example, stiden, in Arabic it's A asking the permission of B to take leave or to take leave of B. Whereas in Maltese it's uh, B inviting A. So the order is changed. Changing, slight change in the meaning. For example, tajib. Um, Whereas in Arabic it's arousing of admiration or act of causing astonishment. In Maltese it is the astonishment, and therefore is the effect rather than the cause. And here I would like to make
Interesting.
a sorry.
Oh, just that's interesting. Yeah, that it switched from
Uh-huh.
cause to effect.
Mhm.
Yeah, different focus. Yeah.
Yeah, and I would like to make a parenthesis here, a side note on here, Ejubiyet tal-Mulay, which is related with Tajib. So Ejubiyet tal-Mulay means the miracles of the Lord, and I'm saying here to the general information to the Maltese audience because I hear it a lot in the Bible, or you read it a lot in the Bible, Ejubiyet tal-Mulay, and they say, but what are these? Is because in the Bible it's written before the word miracles. So basically, it means the miracles of the Lord. So before there was the sense of miracles, miracoli, the word used was ajubiyat. Basar. Basar in Maltese means to perceive the future, whereas in Arabic and the Quran it means to perceive the present. Aptar. Now this is interesting because here is the Quran that differs from Arabic and Maltese. And in Arabic and Maltese they both mean tailless or bobtailed, but in the Quran it means docked as in the sense of no posterity. Complete change in meaning. For example, hazin in Arabic means sad, in Maltese means bad. And we have also Italian interference. Now this is interesting. Darab. And especially we're looking at darbtain. Now, darab in Arabic means to hit. For those that are familiar with the wife beating verse, for example, right? The word uses darab. Um, and in the Quranic Maltese, actually, to me at first when I read it, it was like strange because it was idrop lil mara. And in the Maltese today, it means injure, right? But then when I checked the dictionary, it actually even in Maltese, there is the sense of hit. So
So we're clear. You're saying in Maltese it means injure and hit.
yes, yes, yes.
Those
But
two. Okay.
In Arabic it means hit.
Yeah.
Now, what is interesting is the Italian influence on Maltese, and we say darpte to mean twice. Now, this comes because in Italian they say due colpi, which means two blows and actually means twice. So I don't know if this
So
is. Mhm.
so is it that it sounds like the Italian and so they're superimposing the Italian meaning, even though it
Exactly.
has a different etymology? Ah, gotcha.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And this makes me think of what we talked when we talked about the Qibla. So we had Qibla, and then this became Nofsinar, which is mezzogiorno, midday. Is the same thing. So
Yeah.
when Qibla was not used anymore in Maltese, the same thing happened. Nofsinar was literally translated as mezzogiorno, a calque, basically.
Yeah.
Arabizing the Romans. Now, here we have the Maltese still that are using the Arabic grammar to Arabize the Roman words. For example, Bartal from Bartolomeo, we have Breitel, a small Bartolomeo. Marquis, we have Mrekis. Chance, we have Chneies. This is super interesting. We have the P to B. What does it mean? In Arabic, the P does not exist. What words that are introduced into Arabic with a P, they call it as, pronounce it as B. For example, they don't say Europa, but Europa. Or they don't say potato, but badada. Now, and so in Maltese too, we have words like this, for example, Betchun, Barumbara, Bata. I would like to focus on Bata because to suffer, because we also have passioni. So what does it mean? It means that the word passioni entered much later when the Maltese could pronounce the P. And
Yeah.
Consi also highlights here that the E means that it came through Sicilian. Though um, I caution a little bit because we have, for example, satellitari, and certainly this did not enter in the Sicilian period, right? This entered much, much, much later. So just because we see an I doesn't mean that it came through Sicilian. We have
Yeah.
to delve a little bit deeper. Now, also following the Arabic pattern of Shem, for example, Shemshi, which means sunny, and then you get the noun Shemsh, so too from originali, you get the noun original, right? Which original is not found in either South Italian, which is originali, or in Italian, which is originale. Now, conversely, we'll talk about the Romance influence on Maltese. For example, in the eldest Maltese text, we found this verse, من يبدل المكان يبدل الفنتورة, which means who changes his whereabouts, changes his fortunes. And there's a calc on the Sicilian, chi muto Luca muta ventura. But there are a lot more Sicilian influence in Maltese. For example, Messir, which is now almost lost in Sicilian. Zarmuch, which means kitten, rabbit, which is also lost in Zarmuch. Sorry, in Sicily. And we have other words like babbo, coach, parrino, and many, many, many more. Now, we have also words coming from French like charabanc or Spanish like carawet. And I also think that there are also cultural features which are left from Spain. For example, the festa. If you see the festa, or what in Italian they call, sorry, in Spanish they call la fiesta tradicional, a cultural celebration, tied with a patron saint, but you also find the same themes: procession, party, and fireworks. And then each region has its own flavor, whether it's in Malta and Spain or South Italy. Also, I believe now this is something that I think, okay, I haven't read it anywhere else, but I think I have some links that I will put them in the description and let the audience decide. But I think that in Malta we have a particular way of playing the tambourine. And I think that it's maybe more related with Spain than with South Italy. But I mean, this is not the consensus, it's the other way around. But I will put the links and then people can make their judgment. Also, as well, because we see that the tambourine has to be the center of attention, much like in Spain. Whereas if you see all the videos of South Italy, they're more like an accompaniment. But this is something that it's just I'm saying, right? And also we have the folk singing, Maltese called Ana. And basically, for example, when we have Ana Spirtu Pront, like this one, what we have couplets of two singers singing with each other. Now, why do I think this is interesting? Because I think it may have some similarities with the Jota Aragonese. And if you hear Dr. Henry Abrahamson's lectures, he talks a lot, a lot. He has whole episodes on this, on poetry, and how much the Sephardim, and not only the Sephardim, but his focus is on the Sephardim, they love this poetry and they love having these parties, and in which they are dueling it out, one against the other in poetry. Basically, the same thing as what we're doing, what the Maltese folk singers are doing here. So To make a summary, basically what do we have? We have Sicilian, which is a major influencer of Maltese, but we also have Napolitan, Genovese, Venetian, Old Italian, New Italian, and Catalan, all had impacted, influenced a lot Maltese. And also, it would be interesting to have more research on Provençal, on Spanish, and on Portuguese. And to close this episode, I'll just talk briefly on the influence of English. English rule in Malta was started in the 1800. We have words like paella, taipia, cable, wire, cake, which entered through English. We have this interesting change of how we make the plural from kitla to ktili. So here we're using the more the Arabic way, whereas then with later technology and later influence in the Maltese becoming more accustomed to, or more knowledgeable in English, and the later words like charger, then we adopted the British plural chargers. And also we have Arabic words that entered into Maltese through English, for example, alcohol. And here I want to also just, as a closing a point, that words that entered into Europe with al, they entered through Iberia, and the others entered through Italy. And that's all I have for today.
Excellent. Well, that's a great overview of kind of a rich history there of influences. That was fantastic. So thanks very much
Thank you.
for sharing that with us. That's brilliant. So
Mhm.
in our next episodes, what do you plan to talk about?
We'll talk about it. This is the end of the linguistic team, and we'll make a summary of what of the most important conclusions, and also how this ties with the theme of this channel, ultimately Islamic origins, and why this was all important.
Excellent.